You've got two of the biggest names in online real estate locked in a massive legal showdown. And really, this is more than just a rivalry, it's all-out war. But the craziest part? The battle is being fought over something you probably scroll past 1,000 times a day without a second thought: property photos.
All right, so to really get what's happening here, you gotta know the players. In one corner, you have CoStar. Think of them as the absolute king of commercial real estate and rental data. And in the other corner, Zillow. You know them, they're the giant that pretty much owns the for-sale home market. For a long, long time, these two kind of stayed in their own lanes, you know? But well, that piece is officially over.
So what is all this fuss actually about? Well, it all boils down to one single question. A question that sounds simple but is actually super complex. Who owns the photos?
The fancy legal term for this is, of course, copyright infringement. But really, it just means using someone else's work, in this case all those pictures of houses and apartments, without getting their permission first. And that is the legal hammer that CoStar is trying to bring down on Zillow.
Now, you should know this whole thing isn't brand new. It actually kicked off way back in July 2025 when CoStar filed the first lawsuit. But things got way more intense in March 2026. That's when CoStar came back and basically threw a whole new can of gasoline on the fire with an updated complaint, packed with new allegations.
Okay, so let's break this down. First up, let's look at CoStar's side. They're accusing Zillow of something they call mass infringement. And trust me, they've got a whole list of complaints to back it up.
All right, this is where it gets really juicy. According to CoStar, Zillow isn't just using their photos. They're saying they'd flag an image, tell Zillow to take it down, and Zillow just wouldn't. Or even crazier, they claim Zillow would sometimes republish photos that had already been taken down. And get this, CoStar says some of these photos even had their watermark on them. Plain as day.
So just to put this into perspective, how many photos are we talking about here? A few hundred? 1,000? No. We're talking about more than 53,000 copyrighted images. I mean, that is a staggering number. That's not an accident. That's what CoStar is calling an entire system.
And you can really feel the heat in this quote from CoStar's top lawyer, Gene Boxer. He says, and I'm quoting here, that Zillow has grown increasingly brazen and has the tools to stop, but is simply choosing not to. He calls it a mass infringement scheme designed to make a profit. Ouch. So yeah, they're not pulling any punches.
Okay, but as we all know, there are two sides to every story, right? So, how is Zillow responding to all this? Well, they are absolutely not just sitting back and taking it. They're fighting back hard, and they're calling CoStar's case, well, weak.
And Zillow's response is, let's just say, pretty pointed. They basically see this whole lawsuit as a sneaky business move. Their spokesperson said that CoStar amending the complaint is just another proof point in the weaknesses of their arguments and part of a perpetual model of wastefully leveraging litigation. So in their eyes, CoStar is just trying to win in the courtroom because they can't win in the marketplace.
And Zillow is also pointing to some pretty interesting legal strategy here. They're basically saying, hey, the only reason CoStar changed their lawsuit is to dodge our request to get the whole thing dismissed. It's like a legal chess move, right? Zillow is suggesting that CoStar knows their case is flimsy, so they're trying to stall.
So, you might be thinking, is all of this really just about some photos? The short answer, no. Not even a little bit. This lawsuit, it's just one front in a much, much bigger war for who gets to control the future of the real estate market. And this is what's really going on behind the scenes. The old boundaries, they're gone. You've got CoStar, the rental giant, making a massive play for Zillow's turf, the for-sale market, with their site homes.com. And at the exact same time, Zillow is charging hard into the rental space, which is blowing up for them. They're no longer in separate sandboxes. They're fighting for the exact same ground.
So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. This fight over 53,000 photos, it's not really about the photos. It's a proxy war. The real prize here isn't a bunch of money from a lawsuit. It's market share. It's about who will be the #1 place we all go to find a home.
And all of this really leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? When you have these two massive companies going to war, with all their money and all their lawyers, who actually wins at the end of the day? Is it one of them? Or is it maybe us, the people who are just trying to find our next place to call home?